Hello there once again for another exciting movie show. I am your host, as always, JJ, and over there, my good friend Jake. Jake, how are you
Crosstown.
doing? Across town, just down the street, just a little bit, self-quarantining ourselves from one another.
I don't like that things are opening up again because I like not having to see people or do anything.
it's still,
I've got
it's
a
still, it's still really nice to be able to get the things you want without having to go into the store.
yes, and people now they're bending ass backwards for us instead of
Yeah,
us having to go do
yeah.
things. And now
Actually,
there's like traffic, and there hadn't been traffic, and that was
yeah.
really nice. So I
Actually,
am disappointed that things are opening up.
I actually just I took all the proper precautions, 6 feet apart, mask, hand sanitizer, all the good stuff. I went to the mall yesterday just to
Oh, that's
see
open.
what was going on, and it was an interesting experience. Uh, it's like it's like kind of open. It's weird. It's like
Mm.
things are opening late, or if they're not open at all. It's interesting to
Yeah,
see how every store handles uh,
yeah,
the sort of maximum occupancy
yeah.
uh, stuff like Homer's church holiday, the holiday of maximum occupancy. Uh, uh, but it's like because some of them it's like we can only have 5 people in our store, and we can
Mm.
only have we can have one store had like 160 people, and I'm like, that's a big store because it's all based
Oh,
off of square footage. So
oh, yeah.
and some stores weren't open at all. Like I wandered down to like the FYE movies, and that was closed up shop still.
Yeah, that's funny.
If it reopens, who the hell knows? But
Yeah, it's funny when what things are open and you're like, does Hot Topic really need to be open?
yeah,
I don't know if it
yeah,
was, but
it
just
was
an
Hot
example.
Topic.
Okay,
Hot
does Hot
Topic is
Topic
open.
really need to be
Yeah,
open?
yeah,
I need to get my corn shirt.
yeah. This is my one stop shop for anime, Funko Pops, and Guns N' Roses merchandise.
Wallets, earrings.
Yeah. But yeah, and there's just like hand sanitizer stations everywhere,
Mm,
and yeah, it was an interesting experience.
yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, but I won't do that again for a while. But it was fun nonetheless. Um, but
Gotta
yeah,
do it. You got to do what you can to tank the economy, since
yeah,
that's the goal of shutting everything down. Apparently,
yeah. It's the
so
most important thing is to leave every human being in squalor. That's what everyone's
yep,
hope and prayer
that's,
is.
that's the motivation of the governors, and that's
Yeah,
that's what they want.
all the governors, mayors, e-
Yeah,
everyone is either
politically motivated.
yeah, everyone's either the mayor from Jaws or or just like motivated to make everyone suffer. Those are the only two options. So,
It's like Trump, just because that's what you would do doesn't
yeah.
mean that that's what everybody else is doing.
But speaking of suffering, people suffering, we the
Universe.
movie, the the universe in which the movie we watched this time around takes place in is a lot of people suffering. We said we were going to do a Steven Spielberg, a Stephen King movie.
Yes.
I did not expect it to go this route, but
Well, that was a
Jake,
while ago. So then
yeah,
Dark Tower's in my head because
yeah,
I wanted to watch that anyway. So it just kind
yeah.
of
So
worked out.
Jake chose the Dark Tower. I have my only exposure to the Dark Tower is I've seen this movie twice now, and
Mm,
that's it. I know nothing about the Dark Tower.
yep.
I have seen The Shining, so that helps a little bit. And yeah, and I saw The Stand, which helps a little bit as well.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, all the references to other Stephen King stuff doesn't play into the movie at all.
Yeah,
I mean, they have references, but only because in the books they reference all his other
yeah,
books take place in this world because it ties them all together. So they're not just senseless shout outs.
yeah.
Did you catch all of the so there's a picture of the Overlook Hotel on the psychologist's
Yeah, I
office.
saw. Yeah, most of that stuff I saw just because I looked up like
Oh yeah.
stuff. Like,
I caught these since I'm a
yeah, since
eagle-eyed watcher.
you're a king head, so you
No, I'm
recognize
not a
everything.
king yet. I'm not a king yet. I just know when I see it. He's playing with the Christine, the model car.
Yeah.
in his room.
Oh
There's
yeah,
the
that
it
was
says
Christine,
Penny.
wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it says Pennywise when they're outside, and
Yeah.
when Jake says, "What are these?" Or Roland's like, "No one knows what these structures are," and he's like, "Oh yeah, they're amusement park." And then there's the Rita Hayworth poster where they're in the gun place, which is Shawshank. So
Yeah.
that was cool. Like I said, not senseless. In the book, it's like that.
Yeah.
I read all 7 books. Well, now there's
Wow.
8, but yes, and I don't love the Dark Tower. I love what the Dark Tower could be, because as we all know, Stephen King doesn't know where the hell he's going, and he took 30 years to write this. Like there'd be like 10 years between some books, and obviously when I read it, it was all done. I read it over 6 months, and my wife told me to read it, and then I was mad at her when I finished it because the first book doesn't go anywhere, and I wouldn't have continued to read it. She told me to. The second book's killer. Third book's okay. Fourth book's cool because in the middle of it, or kind of sandwiched in between it, is a standalone story. Yeah. And then the next 3, am I leaving one out? Anyway, the last 3 are like one book that's like actually has a cohesive like beginning, middle, and end. And the other ones don't really end. Like one book stops in the middle of a scene, then the next book just opens up, and that scene just still going on. And you get to the ending is god awful. Like not just like the last like end, but like the last like 500 pages are just absolutely the worst thing in the world. And then it ends, and it's just like the ultimate kick in the nuts. And it's just like not even worth reading it. And then you realize all the things that didn't go anywhere, because there's so many things that he sets up that just don't do anything, and so many things that don't get explanations. And I was reading it because I'm a movie guy, and I'm like, how in the hell would you make this a movie? And they weren't going to make it a movie at that point. Yeah. No one had said anything, and I was like, how in the world are you? But you
knew it was a Stephen King property. You knew.
Oh, I'm just saying that I didn't read it knowing they were going to make a movie. I was just.
But you knew. In your heart, you knew.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, you're reading it, you're like, I don't even know if you could make this a movie. And the only way to do it is the way they did it, which is genius, which is just to kind of take the pieces and do your own version of it. Because that was the only way around it. Like, the first book could not be a movie. The second one could, but that's about it. And there's just so many pieces going on and so many different things that you just could not adapt it straight up without just taking the pieces and doing your own thing with it. And that was a really smart move and a lot of hard work. I mean, like, because you look at all the little things, and there's so many things in there that are from books or not. And it was just a good way to take the characters and put them in this adventure that starts out small. Because you start off with Roland in the first book, and you're just with him, and he's doing his thing, and then Jake comes into it. And it's kind of cool to see it through Jake's eyes, because you can kind of walk into the world. And
is the relationship the same? Like,
yes.
It's like Jake's arc sort of similar in the book as it is in this movie, because I have zero idea.
So, all right, if anyone's listening that want to read the book, don't, because I'm going to fucking ruin them. In the first book, he's like 7 or 8. He's really young, and he just kind of shows up like he does. But Roland sees him. Anyways, and Roland's like hell-bent on revenge like he is in the movie. And they're underground traveling. There's these monster things getting them, and Jake falls like down into the cave, and Roland has the chance to get him, but he doesn't, because that's going to distract him from killing the man in black. Yeah. So Jake dies. And then on the third one, you're following Jake, very similar to the movie, except his dad is this really rich like TV executive who's a cokehead, and his mom's like a really mean person. And he has like this maid is like who he actually likes. But anyways, and he's having these visions of the world because he's been there before in like another life or whatever. So he's seen it, and he's like thinks he's crazy and stuff. And then he eventually gets pulled back in. And
they do the thing that's always irritating when they take these sort of supernatural movies and they try to make the like parents bad guys for not believing the kid.
Oh yeah.
But so they try to make the stepdad seem like a huge dick because the kid like is deranged for all intents. There's zero proof that any of this like is happening. There's never any proof until Matthew McConaughey shows up.
Yeah, no. Why would
So
they
like,
believe him? And he's getting in
yeah,
fights at school
he's
and
gonna fight. He's like,
pretty
yeah, he's
typical
just a.
crazy guy stuff that the world's gonna
It's
end and everything.
yeah, it's like it's just a very like it is. He needs to go somewhere like in this
Yeah,
reality, but they try to play him as the stepdad as a bad guy for seemingly no reason other than just so you don't feel bad when he gets killed, but you
oh
feel
yeah,
bad when the mom gets dusted.
yeah.
I like he just makes the dad die and makes the mom turn into ash, which is just some cold blooded shit.
That scene's cool too when he says like "show me," and then you like see
Yeah,
like her memory vision thing. Like that was really cool.
yeah.
And it's funny
Uh,
too, Catherine Winnick from Vikings, because in Vikings she's like the toughest person ever, and in this she's like really soft and like crying the whole time. This is funny to see that.
it's, yeah.
But so in the book, the
Yeah.
very very end of the book, Roland finally gets to the Dark Tower.
Yeah.
You don't know what's in there.
Yeah.
And by the way, you don't know what the Dark Tower's purpose is till the third book.
Yeah.
You are just like, what is Roland's journey? I have no idea. And they ask him and he won't tell them. And you're like, all right, Stephen King, you're just being a dick because you're not
Yeah.
telling us. And it's been so many books now. But anyways, so he finally gets there. He walks in. He kind of sees his whole journey like painted on the walls and stuff. And then he opens a door and he walks right into the beginning of the first book. And it starts over again. And you're like, oh my God. So apparently he needs some like horn to blow there. And then at the end of it, he has the horn with him. So you're like, oh, so he's going to do this all again, but he has the horn, and then it'll be over. So why wasn't that the movie? Or why wasn't that the story?
Yeah.
So the movie is that story because apparently he's done this loop millions or a bunch of times. So, and he has the horn with him. So that means this is the one after the book.
Yeah.
So he's going to actually do it this time. And if you are a Dark Tower fan that hated this, you do not understand the Dark Tower because there's so many different versions of the story that he's done. To not understand that with this is you just do not get the Dark Tower because that is the whole point of the Dark Tower.
Yeah.
And the fact that Stephen King can't end a book.
Yeah. Like
So he literally starts it over.
yeah. So like 98% of my Stephen King consumption is just his movies based on his properties. Like I've
Yeah.
only read a couple of his books, you know, overall. But so like yeah, the Dark Tower means like it's like I'm like it's A, intimidating, and B, there's too much. Like
Yep.
intimidating because there is too much, and B, like
Yep.
I don't I can't be committed to anything like that. Like just
It's a lot.
like
and it's a
there's
lot of
even,
pages because it's Stephen King. So there are
yeah,
1,000
and
pages.
there's even like the comic book adaptation, which would probably go down easier for me, but like even that, I'm like, I just no, I'd rather just not.
Yeah.
I mean, I gain nothing by getting into it, and I gain nothing by not getting into it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, obviously since the book was disappointing for me, I was like, okay, what are they gonna do with the movie? Because like you could, I mean, obviously there's some great stuff in there. I mean, I like most of it. It's just some choices fuck the whole thing. So I was like, what are they gonna do? And so his whole quest in the beginning is to kill the Man in Black. That kind of goes away because the Man in Black's kind of like a lackey because there's the Crimson King, which is the ultimate bad guy.
Yeah.
And that comes out later. But anyways, so the Man in Black, they never actually face each other, and the Man in Black just kind of dies in this arbitrary way, like in the third or second to last book.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? I thought they were going to get some showdown. So it was very satisfying in this to actually see them have their big showdown. And you're like, finally, Jesus Christ, I've been waiting 7 books to see this. And it's a cool showdown at that.
Yeah.
But you finally get to see Roland get his revenge, which I mean, Stephen King that was the original idea. Then that just kind of went away because other elements came in.
So I was looking up stuff because again, I don't get this. And so
Yeah.
the Man in Black is Randall Flagg. Is that
Yeah, he's in The Stand, and he's in
The Stand, and he's in that other one.
Eyes of the Dragon, and a couple others.
So,
but I don't even think Stephen King knew that. And he'd like, wait a minute, I guess I could just say this guy has a bunch of different names.
It was funny because like I was looking at like the Randall Flagg like Wikipedia page, and it's funny to see like, first of all, who was it was Jamie Sheridan played him in the Stand miniseries, and he's just like '80s mullet with denim
Yep.
jacket, kind of. Like,
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah.
just the,
Got
this
the buttons.
absurd, yeah, it's just this absurd. Like, yeah, I guess that's why he would look like Matthew McConaughey in modern
Yeah.
time. Uh, but like you see like other names that this character has gone by, and I see Nyarlathotep, which was like that's Lovecraft. That's like one of
Oh
the
yeah.
big, just one of the big bads in like Lovecraft.
Well, the story on this is very Lovecraft, where
Yeah.
there's a portal keeping out monsters, and then the monsters
Yeah.
will come in and kill everybody. It's a pretty
Yeah.
Lovecraft thing in the first place.
Yeah, because even in Lovecraft, Nyarlathotep is another nickname for him is what was it? Now it's escaped me. I think it's the Black Man. So like being the man in black and all that stuff.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
it's like the exact same character.
Oh, even the Dark Tower is a poem from somebody, and it's called the Dark Tower, and the name's guy's Roland, and I don't know, it's in the end of it. I think I was so pissed off by the end, I didn't even read it, but he gets to the top of the tower and blows the horn, and that's like where Stephen King took it from, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so the big controversy with this movie was that Idris Elba was cast.
Yeah.
And so I think the only reason, because it was jarring for me, because in the book, they talk about he looks just like Clint Eastwood. Like he has these really piercing blue eyes. He looks exactly like Clint Eastwood. Like when people meet him, they're like, "Oh my god, is that Clint Eastwood?" So it's definitely a good reason for people to be like, "Wait a minute, he's a black dude," because his description is so,
Yeah.
But I remember I was like, "Wait a minute." Why? I was like, well, I mean, Idris Elba was good, of course, and I was like, all right, I mean, whatever. I mean, I doubt they would say they looked like Clint Eastwood anyway.
Yeah, but
it doesn't really matter. And I mean, and another thing, if fans went into this expecting like a straight up adaptation, like they made the main guy black, so I don't know what you were expecting. Like they let you know their changes pretty early on.
Yeah, the main character's black and it's 93 minutes. You should have known better.
Yeah, I remember told that too. I'm like, well, this movie's only 90 minutes. That sucks. And I'm like, you haven't even seen it yet. Like, why are you judging the movie off of its running time?
But and if your cycle thing is, who's to say in another cycle that's just not who he is now. He's this.
Yeah,
it's like Doctor Who. It's just like, oh, this is the new body that I've taken. This is my new form. So here we are.
Yeah, and I mean, and Idris does a fantastic job of being Roland. Just like he looks old and tired and beat and deranged and just like he's lost his way. I mean, he did Roland perfectly, which was great.
Yeah,
and obviously I was on board because Idris is awesome. But
Idris is great.
Yeah,
oh, man, so it's Hobbs and Shaw.
He does such a good job, and everything he does with the guns is killer. It's like, well, in the book they describe it as, he reloads so fast you can't even see it, and like he can shoot one gun while reloading another one.
Is there any implication of like supernatural powers with him or something? Because
with the
gunslinger?
No, not with him. Okay, I mean,
because
they're like knights, they're like trained from birth and everything, and it's
because it's just like in the movie when you see him get crushed with a steel girder, I'm like, is he a superhero that they just haven't really talked about?
Oh no, he's just that badass.
Because they're just nobody's that badass. No human being is that badass. Period. I don't care unless there's some sort of supernatural situation going on.
No, he's not supernatural.
Unless it's like Superman, where it's like on his home planet, he doesn't have any superpowers, but when he comes to our Earth, our red sun gives him because it's
Yeah, no, he's not supernatural at all.
Because I mean, he is. Let's just you got to call a shovel here. No, I don't care how. There's no amount of training in the world that would let you ricochet a bullet off of a girder into another bullet. And there's no amount of training on the planet.
He's just supposed to be that good. That's how good he is.
Yeah, no, that's not how good he is. That's just not. That's not skill set. That's either luck or you have some sort of power of some sort, or maybe you're just like the Marvel character Longshot, where everything you do is the best possible odds. So if he's firing a bullet, it's just like, no, he's doing exactly what he needs to do because that's what his power is, manipulating the
No,
odds.
yeah, yeah,
BS, but
yeah.
yeah, that's
I
and it's
love
not that absurd to think of with you know, a demon character playing.
Oh yeah, no, just in the book he is not supernatural. I love it, all the different ways he reloads the gun. My favorite one is, I think it's the first one you see when he's shooting the demon thing, and when Jake sees his dad.
Yeah.
And like the chamber is spinning, he just like throws the bullets in. Yeah. It's like 2 at a time or whatever.
Yeah.
That one, in the theater I had to yell because that one was so cool. Actually, every time I watch it, I yell. It's like, oh. Everything is just so cool. Let me see here. Yeah, so yeah, it was. I've only seen this a handful of times. I've just seen it like 2 or 3 times.
I saw it when it first came out on video, and I watched it like it ended for me about 20 minutes before we got on to this. So,
I watched it this morning.
I watched it I watched it literally just now.
Yeah.
Before this.
I like it because it doesn't really. It feels kind of like a '90s action movie where like it's not like the biggest thing ever is happening. Like in terms of like scale, like action. I know the backstory is epic, but it's like all like little fights and there's like special effects, but it's not like giant things. And it's like it felt very '90s.
It's loud and showy, which is basically what all '90s action films were.
Yeah,
which is why the like Fast and the Furious movies became so popular as they were, because they just became loud and showy and didn't really try to get caught up in too much else other than I have no idea with this movie. Like, it's pretty straightforward. Some of the concepts they don't really talk about too much because I feel like they expect the people that are watching this movie to sort of understand what the Dark Tower is in some ways, because they don't really explain the tower like all in the movie.
You don't know when you read the book either.
Yeah, but you said
all the explanation. I know
it.
What he does, where he draws it. That's exactly how he explains it. Just that it holds the universe together, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I read them when I went into it, but I feel like all the little references to the other thing were just kind of world building, where just like Star Wars, where they reference a lot of stuff that you have no idea what they're talking about. I feel like they did a good job of doing that and not making it real. I mean, like it says in the house where Jake finds the portal, it says "All hail the Crimson King," but it's just kind of written there.
Yeah.
And they don't reference the Crimson King, but in the book, the Crimson King is, the Emperor. He's the guy.
Well, I think they also probably really expected this to take off.
Oh yes, definitely.
Which it certainly did not. I don't even think it. I don't even remember it making a lot of money. So
I think it bombed big time.
Yeah.
Well, the problem was, that's weird for Stephen King because everything he's written has become a movie or something, or a short at least.
But many of them aren't successes. So
no. But I just mean that it's funny that everything he does is huge. And the Dark Tower is like his only series, or it was for a long time. Yeah. And most people haven't read it, even like Stephen King people, because it's daunting to see that many books. And especially since it was open-ended for 30 years and he didn't know when he was going to end it. But it's just so funny that so many people have read his books, and the Dark Tower ones, they don't really.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it was never on my radar. I never really cared. It didn't really. I'm like, when I look at it, it's like, this is something I don't want to read. I would watch it if this were a thing, but I don't think I would ever read it.
And they did a great job of extracting all the good things and making it a movie. I mean, and I was excited to see, hopefully what they would have done with it, but of course they're not going to. They have a TV show, apparently.
Yeah, well, we can just get right into it, because the Dark Tower has had quite the... It was in developmental hell for so long. It has quite the production history. Because, it was originally, the ball started moving in 2007.
Oh.
For the Dark Tower.
Back when the Watchmen ruined it.
Yeah, back when it was going to be a J.J. Abrams situation.
Oh, yeah? I remember Ron Howard was going to do it.
That was after this.
Ah.
So it initially started off with... J.J. Abrams, let's see. Let's look it up here.
Mm.
Uh, he was going to produce and direct it.
Hmm.
Carlton Cruise and Damon Lindelof were going were going to like be working on it too.
Mm.
Um,
I mean, I think people really had a hard time trying to figure out how the hell you make this a story. Like, I mean,
apparently,
it's a good job doing a standalone because they destroy that one breaker, and that's just like a fraction of what's going on. They don't really tell you that there's more going on, which is really cool.
so I mean this will explain what happened with the situation with the J.J. Abrams version of this.
Mm.
Apparently they bought it, they optioned it for $19
Oh,
from
that's
King
Stephen King's thing.
because it's Stephen
That's his
King's
thing.
number.
Yeah.
And Entertainment Weekly reported that King is an ardent supporter of Lost and trusts Abrams to translate his vision into a film franchise.
Oh.
With Lindelof being the leading candidate to write the screenplay for the first installment.
Mm.
And that's when, this is the exact same time that Marvel started putting out the Dark Tower comic books. It's
Oh yeah.
2007 is when this was going on.
Those are weird because those are in chronological order, and the Dark Tower jumps around like crazy.
Yeah.
Because King doesn't know what the hell he's doing either.
Yeah. So by 2008, it was in its early stages of development.
Mm-hmm.
J.J. Abrams admitted that the project needs time he does not have because of Lost.
You're gonna
Especially
get lost in something else.
Yeah, he wanted to make it a 7-film series, so each book was going to get its own.
There's no way you could do that. The first book doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
In the last scene, it's cool, but it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. So they were planning on starting it once Lost finished doing its thing. So basically, just sort of Lost got in the way of them working on this on their adaptation of the Dark Tower. And who knows? I mean, like I've got a love-hate relationship with Abrams in a lot of ways.
He gave us Mission Impossible 3, which is the worst good Mission Impossible, and that's, I think, the best thing he's ever done.
Yeah, I mean, like,
his chance to really prove himself was Super 8, and that movie blows.
I mean, like, well, I mean, what was Star Trek was good.
Oh, that's right.
The first Star Trek was good. Second Star Trek wasn't good.
No. And I don't know much about Star Trek, and I'm pretty sure the more I do, the more I'll hate that movie and just figure out that it was just him kind of doing Star Trek.
The first Star Trek is still...
it's not just a rehash of old Star Trek things?
I mean... It's an origin story, so it is but isn't at the same time. Like, it is handling it better than the second one does. Where
it's
the
not like
one,
they just do the scenes but kind of changed.
Yeah, it handles the sort of like splintered timeline better than.
Okay. Because Into Darkness was terrible.
Yeah, Wrath of Khan again.
It's like, hey, how about that scene at the end with Spock and Kirk? What if we make it so it's Spock and not Kirk, or the other way around, or whatever?
Yeah. What if it's Kirk that's dying and Spock has to yell Khan instead? But yeah, I mean, and I still really like The Force Awakens. I just recently went back to all 3 of those movies, and I still enjoy them. I find them far more flawed than any of the Lucas movies, but I don't hate them to the extent that the weird internet people hate them. Like weird
nobody
people,
hates anything like the internet.
Yeah, weird people hate The Last Jedi for weird reasons, and weird people hate Rise of Skywalker for weird reasons, and I'm just sitting here like, I had fun watching these movies. This is a cool little. The story arcs made sense to me. Everything like I don't know. I mean, I think, especially with Rise of Skywalker, it's very obvious with Rise of Skywalker that J.J. Abrams just probably should have made all 3 because he very clearly had an idea in his brain and he wasn't going to give it up come hell or high water. And the first 25 minutes of Rise of Skywalker is him like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Who is the director of Last Jedi?
What's his face? Ryan Rian Johnson.
Yeah, Rian Johnson. Like, yeah,
Mr. Ryan Brick Johnson.
Yeah.
Ryan Looper Johnson.
Yeah. I really like Knives Out. Not a big fan of Rian Johnson for the most part. I don't think he's particularly the way he makes movies isn't the way I like movies. But
he doesn't make movies like he plays the banjo. I've never heard him play, but apparently he plays.
But I really, really enjoyed Knives Out. I really like that movie. It's a fun little.
I've heard it's good, but I've seen all of his movies except for the Star Wars one, and I've hated that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same way. Like, I'm not a big fan of Rian Johnson movies, and even The Last Jedi. Like, I like The Last Jedi. I think it's this weird. We'll never talk about it because I'll never be able to convince you to watch these movies. But I think my biggest problem with the Rian Johnson Last Jedi is that it's a really good Star Wars movie. It does a really good job at sort of doing something different with Star Wars. Unfortunately, it's trying to do something different with Star Wars in a trilogy and in the middle part of a trilogy. And it's trying to make Star Wars something Star Wars has never, ever, ever been.
Yeah.
And that hurts it in the long run.
I
still think it's a great movie. I still think it does a good job of telling the story it's trying to tell, but it never should have been a part 2, I guess. It just feels short-sighted in a lot of ways from what is Lucasfilm now. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's still great. I still think it's great, but it's a weird part 2, especially now more than ever since the part 3 went above and beyond to make sure that part 2 didn't make much impact on everything. So it's weird. But you know what? It's fine.
Classic. It's Stephen King move, not knowing where you're gonna end.
Yeah, but I get a feeling that Abrams probably did know where he wanted to end, but Rian Johnson's movie was so out of left field so different from Star Wars as a whole that like anyone else he probably could have like worked around it to get to his resolution, but like there was no getting around what Rian Johnson did, and so he made sort of a chaotic movie for like its first act. So but yeah.
Well, that's kind of one of the things I was thinking with. So Stephen King didn't know the Dark Tower where it was going for 30 years. So kind of going back to the story, like starting it over, knowing where it goes, it kind of gives you the license to have a totally different take on it. Because when you're like, when you can cut out at least half of the pages, you can really focus on what the actual plot is. Because like I said, the last 3 books actually have a focus. And but of course the nerds just want to see what they read already. And there's no room for interpretation there.
Yeah. I mean, like, there's a lot to be said about like what's an adaptation and what's like what makes a good adaptation, because like there are some stories that are better off when you follow at least the heart of what a story is much more than something else. Like Watchmen is a almost virtually 1-to-1 adaptation. Same with Sin City. And I don't think there's any other way to do those.
I mean, and there were self-contained things that could be.
Yeah, exactly. But like most comic book movies aren't adaptations.
No.
And most
books, Dark Tower plays like a comic book movie.
Yeah, and most films like aren't like of adaptations of books and stuff aren't adaptations. So it's hard to know like exactly what people are going to want, and when something sort of transcends certain parts of pop culture, like you're going to have those people that will never like anything Lord of the Rings that ever comes out because it's a different thing. You're going to have people like it's weird that the Harry Potter stuff was able to be as successful as it was, because that is a rabid fan base. That is a rabid fan base.
That's true, yeah.
If anything, like, and the movies came out and for the most part, everyone seemed to appreciate them.
Yeah, yeah, they're
They
all
accepted. They
big.
accepted that they're following the story, but they have to sort of take different trajectories once in a while. But for the most part, they're
Yeah,
following what they're supposed to follow.
yeah.
And people, that one seems to get get a pass. But like, I don't know. Like, the Dark Tower was never in even like my peripheral up until when 2007 when they were starting to talk about these movies and stuff. I didn't know what the Dark Tower was.
No,
really
I
didn't.
never heard of it until, I mean, my wife loves Stephen King, has read
Yeah,
everything he's done. That's the only time I ever heard about it.
yeah. So like, because it's not like, it's big, it's huge, it's this big like thing, but it's not like a pop culture thing.
No, it's just like a literary thing, which is weird for Stephen King because all
Yeah,
his stuff is popular.
yeah.
And you know it
Everything
whether
that's
you've heard it or seen it
yeah.
or not.
Stephen King does a really good job at creating content and ideas that
Yes.
can transcend a medium. Like, his books make really good audio stories. His books make good shorts, like short films, long
Mm-hmm.
miniseries,
Yeah.
movies, comic books, whatever. He does a good job at making things like, you have things like Creepshow, where it has
Oh, yeah.
like the TV series or the movies and stuff, where they're able to adapt that stuff really easily. Full length feature films, several miniseries.
Yeah. He loves miniseries. I guess it brought the miniseries back because it was a thing in the 70s.
It was a thing in the 70s. It was a major miniseries were a big popular thing.
Yeah.
And I could see it, like, because I mean, like, it and Roots and stuff like that were like big television events, and TV could. It was easier for TV to operate that way back then. Because
And it works out for Stephen King because he's pretty long-winded
Yeah.
about everything. So he said he loves to work on the miniseries format.
Yeah, I could see that. It gives you an opportunity to include more of your art into something.
Oh yeah.
And maybe be more faithful to what your vision is.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But a lot of people just won't like miniseries now, probably an easier sell than it has been in a while because of the way people consume. Like, there's so many limited events and
which are cool.
So many things are just miniseries now. Like, things like 24 helped bring that back because it was all like a self-contained thing. Every season
so
was its own thing. Yeah, and so it's and now that things are digital and a lot of stuff kind of comes out at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, so this
you don't have to tune in every week.
Yeah, you're not tuning in every week, and you're not watching the commercial breaks and stuff, and like. Some of those miniseries, like if you go back and watch The Stand, I don't know if you ever saw The Stand miniseries.
I saw The Stand not that long ago.
Yeah,
it's pretty good, and then it ends.
It's pretty good. It it doesn't really end well, but it feels like a TV show. It has weird act breaks, and stuff, and it like
Gary Sinise.
Gary Sinise in it, that's for sure. And like I said earlier, Jamie Sheridan, who was in one of my favorite TV shows, Law and Order: Criminal Intent.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. But it's weird, and I'm surprised that there isn't more Stephen King stuff that you're gonna see popping up on like Netflix and stuff, I guess, like miniseries style. But I guess because they did do the Hulu, one of their first major sort of like original contents was the JFK assassination thing that they did. That was
2263.
Yeah, that one was like years ago. Castle Rock is relatively recent.
That's right. Yeah.
I don't even remember anyone watching 11/22/63.
Yeah.
I don't remember a single soul watching that thing. I'm sure they did.
I haven't watched it.
Yeah, because it was like an early Hulu like original production thing. So who knows? Stephen King's always going to have a new movie coming out.
Yep.
I was going to say until the day he dies, but that's not going to stop it.
It's going to keep going after he dies. After he dies.
There'll be remakes. They'll find short stories that never got published, and I have a feeling he's not going to be like the guy that wrote the like Discworld books and stuff. When he died, they had him crush his hard drive that had all of his unfinished works on it, so none of his unfinished stuff could ever get out there.
That's cool.
I got a feeling Stephen King isn't that way. I'm sure there's gonna be I'm sure once he dies, his estate will crack open that safe and be like, all right, what
Yep.
can we do?
Oh yeah.
We'll like, bring in some shadow writer to do like tighten up this book that
he's very open to artistic interpretation, like all his movie adaptions. He loves them, and or for the most part, I mean, which is cool because you can believe him when he says he likes it or doesn't like it, because he'll tell you if he doesn't like it. But he's open for, like, he was open for the Dark Tower being different. And
we're doing what we do right now, how we always do it with these movies, where we've picked a movie from a director or a creator, and now we're just going to focus on the creator, because we're not probably going to come back to a Stephen King thing for a while.
Probably not.
So,
what? I don't, probably not. I don't know if there's any that I love.
Yeah.
I like, but I don't know if there's any that's my favorite.
I mean, I absolutely love Christine.
Yes, I do love Christine.
I love Christine. I love Creepshow. Creepshow is one of my favorite movies. Yeah. And his segment in Creepshow absolutely rules. The farmer, and that the line where he cracks open a meteor shit, is a quote I like to use quite a lot. Get something on me, and it's like, meteor shit.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah. I thought of a Stephen King thing I wanted to bring up.
Okay.
Which is
about cocaine?
It could be. It might be indirectly related to cocaine.
As is most.
Yeah. Well, he people were shitting on the Dark Tower ending with good reason, and he was like, "No, I'm not going to go change it." He's like, "That's the ending. There's nothing I can do about it. That's just how it came out." And I'm like, "You created this. You can do whatever you want."
Yeah.
And there's a lot of writers like that.
Stephen King definitely, because you have two different types of creators. You have guys like Stephen King where they will act like, this is the story as it just came out of me. I can't manipulate it in any way. This is how it came out. This is what it is. And then you have guys like George Lucas or Walt Disney who are like, it's never done.
Yeah.
Like Walt Disney, the biggest thing he always hated about his movies were like, they get out there and that's it. I have to just give it up because I can't go back and change it, because he would, which is what he liked about the concept of Fantasia. And if it wasn't a failure, Fantasia would have been changed constantly. And that's why Disneyland was such a big thing for him, because he could always do something new. If something wasn't working, he could take it out and just replace it with something at any time. There was no commitment to, unlike a movie, especially in 30s, 40s, where 50s, where especially with a cartoon, there's no like bring it back and fix it. There is, it's done, it's out there, this is it. I'm not 100% happy with it. I would have changed this and this, but I can't. But like, if Walt Disney were like a director today, he would absolutely be in the same boat as like George Lucas, where he would be changing his stuff. He would have used the technology to fix the things that he saw as broken. In his movies and stuff. And so, but Stephen King is definitely the other camp of, nope, this is what it is what it is, I can't do anything about it. It's like,
I can't question it, I can't create, I can't manipulate it.
Like, no, you're the writer, you could sit back and say, but I mean, he even jokes about it himself, where he has zero idea how to finish a story. So a little fun fact about the Dark Tower that most people don't know about: he is in the book. Yeah, doesn't he play himself in the book? He plays himself in the book, yes. That's something that's like one thing I knew about the that is definitely worthy. Yeah, he writes himself as a character of Stephen King in the book. They talk to him and he's like writing the books. It is because he's like getting the visions from what's actually happening. And it doesn't really need to be there. They meet him in the 80s when he's all coked out. So yes, cocaine. And they tell him to be clean because he has to like finish the story, and that's why he gets clean. And then when he got hit by the van. Yeah. So that's going to happen. But then one of the main characters, actually Jake, gets hit by the van and dies. And so it's him instead of Stephen King. That happens. It's not as I remember hearing it and being like, oh my god, and then you read it and you're like, this isn't bad. It's unclear to me, like, it's weird. It's unclear to me how Stephen King like goes about his cameos in things, because there'll be movies and stuff where he's in it, there'll be movies and stuff where he's not, and it's like, and it doesn't really seem like it's personal preference. It doesn't seem like it's like, no, I think this is terrible, so I'm not going to be in it. It just seems like, he doesn't do many cameos. He does a ton of
Does
cameos.
he? Okay.
I
It's
looked
not.
at
It's not
it.
like a Stan
I
Lee thing
was
where he's in everything. He just.
Yeah, I was looking at a list of it, and there's like
Mhm.
27 movies that he has that involve stories of his that
Mm.
he appears in a lot of his adaptations.
But looking at his adaptions, that's not that many. 'Cause
Yeah,
there's
no, that's what I'm
so
saying. Like
many.
he
Yeah.
appears in so many of them, so it's
Mm.
like I don't know what the like what the ones is it they just don't come to him or they just like
Who knows?
yeah. I don't know.
He's a cool guy though. I always love hearing him talk because he understands who he is. He understands what he does. He understands movies are movies, books are books, and he's like into music. I remember when American Idiot by Green Day came out. There's a sticker and it was like best album of the year, Stephen King. And I'm like, wait, Stephen King? Like,
Yeah.
what can I listen to his opinion on music?
There was something, yeah, I forget. There was something else that had like a Stephen King quote on it, and that was super weird. And I'm like, of everyone, you're putting Stephen King onto it. I feel like there was yeah, because you'll see him. They'll just ask him all sorts of stuff. Like you'll see
Yeah.
him on the back of books and stuff, like movies that he had nothing to do with. And,
Nope.
Like scariest movie of the year, says Stephen King, and you're like,
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Stephen
He
King.
loves rock and roll. He plays the guitar. He loves movies. He loves cool
He's very-
movies. He's
very
not
f-
like artsy like you would think or
yeah,
whatever.
he's very fun on Twitter.
Oh yeah.
He absolutely hates Trump with a passion. So.
He hates Hillary too.
Yeah, I just think he hates the man.
Yeah. Steven's fighting the man.
Yeah,
He has a cool guitar, and I think it says SK on it or something. It was one of the. Usually uses a dust jacket picture for a few books, and there was one, and he had this grody mustache, and he was holding a guitar. Maybe he said Crimson King on it. I'm not sure.
It's funny because there's a website called the SCP Foundation, and it's basically it's presented as a Wikipedia, sort of in a sense, but it's creative writing for this fictional foundation that SCP stands for Secure, Contain, Protect. And it is this shadow organization that finds anomalous creatures. And there's no canon, but like every like SCP-132 and SCP-4458 and stuff. But there's like common threads throughout of everything, and one of them is the Scarlet King. So, which is very, very heavily influenced by that kind of stuff. It's like King. It's a combination of like Stephen King multiverse concept that Stephen King has, or things are like there's a lot of like weird tie-ins and stuff, and also it's a lot of Lovecraft horror.
Oh yeah,
cosmic horror. Cosmic horror is great. Nobody really plays into it too much these days, but.
Joe Hill, Stephen King's kid, loves Lovecraft. I think in Lock and Key, it's the name of the town or something.
Yeah,
there's some kind of reference in
Lock
there.
And Key and Joe Hill. I didn't know Joe Hill. I had read Lock and Key before I ever knew that Joe Hill was Stephen King's kid.
When you see him, you know.
Yeah, like I mean, it wasn't all that long ago. On Shudder they have, or an AMC as well. I think probably Nosferatu,
Nosferatu,
series that was like, and that was like. I was like reading an interview about it. It's like, shit, that's right, Stephen King's kid. Yeah, it's just like completely.
My wife has read Stephen King forever, and she said Joe Hill's better because he has urgency and he knows how to end a story.
I like Lock and Key. That's a good comic series.
I just saw the show and it was really good.
I never saw the show.
It was good.
It's a thing where I'm happy with the comic series. So,
it's good. It's kind of a fun kind of. It's like light, but it's dark still. You know.
I mean, like I said,
it's very PG-13 in a good way.
Yeah. It's just like I'm happy. Like best case scenario, they adapt the comic book series, and like so what? So
yeah, you've already seen what it looks like.
Yeah, and like it's a comic book. I've seen like it's different when it's like Marvel or something where it's just like it's these big bombastic things where they're like plucking concepts from another thing. But Lock and Key is sort of a very specific thing. So, like, if it goes too far away from Lock and Key, like. So what? I've read Lock and Key. You can only stray so far from the source material with Lock and Key. So
it's not like Batman where you have like 80 years to kind of draw a little bit pieces.
You're like 80 80 years of content. Marvel Comics is sitting at like 100 years of like nonsense and things.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Well, I like it when they adapt it when they don't necessarily do it straight up. I mean, keep the heart of it, of course, but I like to see something kind of different. I mean, like you said, when it's a very specific story, you can't. But with Dark Tower, it was like, obviously, you can't. If you're just going to ruin it if you try to adapt it and then make it your own, then you did a really good job of it. It was the only way you could have done it.
So
successfully.
I'm looking back at the production woes of this movie. Yeah, because okay, so by 2010, so November of 2009
pre-production
is when,
okay.
So by November of 2009, Abrams and Lindelof sort of walked away from it. They're like, it's too much. And
focus on their cocaine habit.
Yeah, it was like it's like they're such big fans of King that they needed to really dive into his work the only way he can. So no, November 2000, because they were both fans and they're like, I don't know if we can do it justice. They just kind of gave up on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably hard to figure out a successful way to do it.
Yeah, so that's when Universal acquires it with Ron Howard, and it was set up to be a trilogy.
Oh yeah.
At a point, became like a mini series.
Oh yeah.
Viggo Mortensen and Javier Bardem were in line to play the lead character of Roland, and let's see, Naomi Harris was going to play Susanna.
Oh yeah, so the books, especially the second one, is all about getting his team.
Yeah.
And Jake is dead in the book, so he gets this girl and he gets this dude, and they have their own problems and stuff. And then in the next one, they get Jake. Then they're the team. Then they can go save the tower. Apparently.
Yeah. So let's see. In 2014, Aaron Paul stated that he had a conversation with Ron Howard, play the role of Eddie.
Eddie, yeah, he would have been a good Eddie.
And Liam Neeson was in the running to be Roland.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
But by 2015, Sony picked up the rights to Dark Tower, and that's where everything sort of started falling into place. The director, he's a Danish director.
Yep.
Hasn't really done anything. Hasn't done anything since this.
No.
And everything that he did before this was a foreign film. The only thing that I fully recognized was he was script consultant on the movie Antichrist, which is one hell of a movie.
I remember you telling me about that.
He was set up to be the director of an adaptation of the comic book series Fables.
Oh.
But I don't think they're making Fables anymore, so... because like the comic ended, so they just kind of stopped production of the movie. But like, it would feel like the comic ending would be the best time to get the movie going.
Yeah.
But like, Fables is really cool because it's one of those like, it's sort of like almost like a noir-ish sort of series set into the world of like fairy tales and fables. So it's the big bad wolf is like like a detective and stuff like that. Certain characters that are like strippers and like it's like
Cinderella.
Yeah, it's kind of like the concept of Toontown in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. But separate, but like for like this fantasy world, and that would make for a really interesting movie.
Yeah,
that movie Bright sort of. Kind of similar concept.
Yeah.
But it has a very successful video game series called Wolf Among Us. But like, I don't know. I don't think that movie is ever going to happen. And this director doesn't really seem to have anything else on the docket.
No,
so.
I think he learned English so he could read the Dark Tower or something, or he either learned it so he could read it or learned it through, because he's been a Dark Tower guy for a while.
So filming began April of 2016, and the movie came out in January of 2017. So that is a short production cycle.
Yeah, I mean, like what I was saying about feeling like kind of like a '90s movie. It's like it's like got this epic story, but everything's kind of told in little corners. Yeah. Like how movies used to be. Instead of trying to go for the biggest thing ever, they just kind of took it
Oh,
slow.
it was scheduled to come out in January of 2017.
Oh no, I think it came out
didn't come out until August.
Oh, there you go.
Because it kept getting pushed back because bigger and more successful movies were pushing it out of its way.
Okay,
the film was pushed back from February to July because Jumanji got its original release date.
Oh.
And then it got pushed back again for the Emoji Movie.
Who would have thought?
Yeah.
I remember it was weird on the poster, like Roland's guns had like blue bullets coming out of them.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if that was just for the poster or if they were going to do that in the movie. But I remember I was like, "What's up with those blue bullets?" And then nothing ever happened in the movie,
yeah.
which looked cool. I don't know. I don't remember if there was a preview with it.
A 1-minute television spot titled Connected Kingdom featured Easter eggs of other Stephen King stories through the interdimensional setting of the titular location, the Dark Tower. It includes references to The Shining, Christine, Cujo, Misery, Shawshank, Carrie, and It.
Oh, I missed a few of those.
Yeah. But that's just this weird teaser trailer that came out as promotion.
Okay. I don't know what if they're still gonna do the TV show, because the fourth book has a flashback to Roland. I think it's his like first real thing as a gunslinger when he's like 16 or something, and that's cool because that's like a self-contained story.
Yeah.
And I mean that book is cool. I mean the first 100 pages and the last couple are weird Dark Tower stuff that I don't even, they go in the Wizard of Oz or something. It's really weird. But that middle part is actually a story that has a beginning, middle, and end, and that's like most people's favorite.
A journey into the public domain.
Yes. Well, it's supposed to be, I think it's supposed to be that all stories, like creative stuff, have like come from other universes out there, and like, you know, some authors are able to grab them and stuff. Because there's a fight in one of them where they have lightsabers and like Harry Potter wands or something. And they call them that.
So in 2018, after the movie came out, Amazon bought the rights to the Dark Tower.
Oh.
It was later confirmed the series would serve as a reboot. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I remember they weren't sure if Idris was going to be back.
It says Sam Strike is being cast as Roland.
Sam Strike, I don't know who that is. Sounds like an action star name.
Yeah, he's a TV actor.
I did love the Dennis.
And stuff.
I did love that Dennis Haysbert was his dad, because it's like, man, who's going to be Idris's dad? Then you say Haysbert, and you're like, yep, that's the only person that could have done it.
Yeah.
Those of us who love 24 and Heat.
Oh, he was in that. Oh man, the guy that's
in the Allstate commercials.
The guy that's playing Roland was in that movie Leatherface from a few years ago, that weird prequel to Texas Chainsaw Massacre where he plays young Leatherface.
Not the one with Vigo?
No.
Or no. Yeah, that was Vigo. Matthew McConaughey is in the Texas Chainsaw Next Generation or something.
Next Generation, yes.
With Renee Zellweger.
Yep.
But Vigo's in the Leatherface movie, which is also really bad. I don't think there's any good Texas Chainsaw sequel.
I don't see Vigo on the cast list.
Oh, he's in there.
You might be. It's the 2017 Leatherface film. It stars.
No, not that one.
Oh,
the one from the 90s, early 90s.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay. I'm just talking about Leatherface, the movie called Leatherface.
Oh yeah. I think this one's also called Leatherface,
starring Stephen Dorff. That's how you know it's good. It's got Stephen Dorff in it. So,
I like Stephen Dorff, but he's just not in good things.
Yeah, exactly. I like him.
Yeah. You don't like Dukes is Wild?
In June 2019, Michael Rooker was cast.
Oh yeah.
In 2020, January of this year, Amazon decided not to move forward with the pilot, but production company MRC is shopping the pilot scripts elsewhere. So Amazon's not going forward with it, but they're still trying to get the movie done.
Poor Dark Tower just doesn't know. Just can't land anywhere.
Let's see.
Then when it does, it's a failure.
Yeah. Oh, that's not what I want. Now I'm looking at Dark Tower comic books. We do not need to talk about that.
No, I don't know anything about those.
Let's see. The box office.
Oh yeah, the artwork for the comic book's kind of annoying because it's like, no, I don't have a problem with digital, but it looks digital where it's like everything is perfect looking. Like, yeah, I don't like it. It was like everything was way too smooth. I couldn't get into that.
So,
I'm sure that's still going.
Let's see. So it made 51 million in the United States and Canada, and 63 million so 113 million worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
It was released alongside the movie Kidnap, the expansion of the wide expansion of the film Detroit. Was projected to gross around $20 million in its opening weekend, but it made 1.8 million on Thursday.
Thursday.
And 7.7 million on its first day. It made $19.5 million that weekend. So almost.
Yeah.
But it dethroned Dunkirk.
Yeah.
Dunkirk at the box office. It was the second lowest gross for a film to finish number 1 in 2017. It dropped its second weekend. The film dropped almost 60%.
Jeez.
So it fell off hard. Reviews were obviously relatively bad. Sits at a 16% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Fuck Rotten Tomatoes.
It was called well, it's not Rotten Tomatoes' fault that the critics rated it so low. They're just sitting there telling you that they rated it low, and that Metacritic has an average of 34 out of 100 based on 46 critics. Cinema Score, which is the one where they talk to fans leaving the movie, has it at a B, which for a movie that's almost everything's an A, like in some way, shape, or form, no matter how bad the movie is.
Yeah.
Like, like Godzilla was like an A- or something. Like, it doesn't matter. So B is actually pretty low. For Cinema Score stuff.
Yeah.
Post Talk reported filmgoers gave it a overall 69%. And 43% gave it a definite recommend. So 43% of the people that saw the movie said, "Yeah, go see this movie." So
everyone I talked to liked it, or I should say, most people.
Yeah.
One guy at work, and then I guess my father-in-law didn't like it, but I used to be able to track what he liked, and now I have no idea. I don't know where he's at. He asked me if you should watch The Godfather 3, and I was like, "Yeah, watch it." And he's like, "Oh, it's not supposed to be good." I'm like, "It's good, just not as good as the other two."
I don't understand, like, when you see something like this quote says, "An unholy mess that shouldn't happen to a king, much less a paying customer." And it's like, have you not seen other Stephen King stuff? There is some grade A horse shit out there that just
have you
exists.
seen Red the Bullet?
Yeah, it's like there's so much garbage. Like, this, compared to some of the low-tier Stephen King stuff, is...
Yeah, like, no one told you to pay money to go see it.
Yeah.
Really, yeah. You don't deserve anything. These nerds that think they deserve stuff.
A review on Vox actually praised the movie. That its disjointed narrative structure, sure, but it favored a fast pace over exposition and backstory that gave it a sense of basic wondrous glee that made it feel more like a Stephen King film than any other Stephen King film since Stand By Me. So, like, I'm just saying, like, it gave it a... How's that hard to comprehend what they're saying?
This is a lot of words that were going the long way to make their point. Much like they said the movie wasn't doing.
Yeah, it says it was a disjointed narrative, sure, but it favored its fast-paced action over its exposition and backstory. So it chose to tell the story through its action and pacing as opposed to just sit down and explain the story to you.
Yeah.
And it gave it a sort of basic, wondrous form of glee, which they say is much more befitting of a Stephen King story and feels more like a Stephen King storytelling than a lot of movies that have come out since then.
That's weird, because normally Stephen King will stop the story for hundreds of pages to tell some backstory.
Yeah.
He there's one of them, Father Callahan from Salem's Lot, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they meet him, and they're like, "Oh, what have you been up to since Salem's Lot?" He's like, "Let me tell you in great detail."
Yeah.
And it's like seriously 100-page.
The same reviewer applauded the fact that it's like, even if it's not like directly doing any of this stuff, they do appreciate that they sort of make reference to this sort of multiverse that is the Stephen King with its references to other things. And
I felt like they did a really good job of making it accessible to an audience. And
like
doing enough to make it a movie, and then go on the next one. We'll go way into it, but
like I have to assume there has to be somebody out there who was watching the movie and kind of gave an audible gasp or like happy with themselves when they put the connection of The Shine to being related to The Shining, that whole situation, because it's the same thing. Like they're using it. It's there's the telepathic aspect of it. That's exactly. There's got to be people out there that when they made that connection, it made them sort of like, oh yeah, that's Stephen King, of course,
or even not, and just hearing Shine and just go, hey, I like The Shining.
Yeah, even though it's the exact same like situation going on.
Yeah, I don't think Jake has the shine in the book. I don't remember that part. But he is like a born and bred gunslinger. He just pass all Roland's tests.
Does that exist in the book as a plot point? The Shine, is that like?
I don't think they're getting Jake, but they are getting kids.
They are getting kids to do
that's like in the last book. That's like this kind of combines like the third book with the last book. Is like the most direct, and I guess the first book too. Just like, because when Roland's out there in the desert, he can see Walter in the distance, and he's like been following him for apparently since the ending of the book. It's that's such a kick to the chode when you read them. Just walk right into the beginning, and you're like, so you're fucking not gonna end it.
Yeah.
And you're just gonna start over and not have it's an ending in the fact that there's literally no more pages left. That is the only reason that it's an ending.
Yeah.
Stephen King didn't know how to end it so much that he made it so that the story had to end, because he kills off everybody in the most excruciatingly painful, long drawn out, emotional black ever, and they all fucking die. Even the little pet gets the terrible death. Oh. And then it just starts over, and you're like, okay, you would have been better just not ending it instead of just like killing off your characters so you literally couldn't keep writing them. That was all he did.
So the last there was talk of any sequel was shortly around the time the movie was coming out. So
before the movie came out.
Yeah. So unlikely. It had the sequel. Film had a title ready to go.
What was it called?
It was, what did I say? Dark Tower 2, The Drawing of the 3.
Ah, yes.
So that's what they were going to call the second movie.
Yeah, that's the name of the second book. That one is actually good. That's the only one I literally actually like. I mean, it works on its own, and it's got some cool stuff in it. There's they introduced this thing where Roland sees doors on the beach. And you open them up, and you're like looking through someone's eyes, and then when you walk in, you're like in that guy's head, and he's like, he's talking to him, and there's cool stuff.
I do like this. In an interview with Collider, King expressed hope for a sequel film in addition to the television series by suggesting it should be R-rated, have Roland wearing a hat.
Oh, that's right, yeah. Well, in the book, he's wearing a hat the whole time, and his hair's hanging down, and. Obviously, I don't think you want to have Roland with fro hair.
I love the idea where the hat is very important to Stephen King. Where he has this
people complain about that shit, and you're like, it's a hat. Okay, I'd rather have the guy be a good actor and portray the character as opposed to wearing the hat.
And he wanted to include the lobstrosities.
Yeah, they're just lobsters.
Are they just big lobsters? Are they like lobster people?
I think they're just regular ass lobsters that are poisonous.
Okay.
I don't remember if they look any different. They're regular lobster size. Well, Roland is walking on the beach, just on his journey, and not a leisurely walk on the beach. He just happens to be, and he spends the night there, and he wakes up, and he has a dream that things are pulling him, and then he wakes up, and one of the lobstrosities cuts off 3 of his fingers.
Oh, good.
On his right hand. So he can't hold the gun, but obviously he can shoot with the left one just fine. And he's got this poison going up his arm, and that's a story. See, I don't even know if that's why they put that in this one that he gets poisoned, or if it was just I mean,
just a minor reference, kind of,
or just something that they wanted to have happen, and
yeah.
it just happens to kind of be like something. I do love that when Roland goes to New York, because he just like can't really say anything without sounding weird.
Yeah,
he's just such a fish out of water.
Yeah,
that's also in that where he drinks pop. It's actually Pepsi in the book.
Yeah,
and they don't do it in the movie. I mean, they kind of do it, but not exactly. But I loved it in the book because he's like, he drinks the Pepsi and he's like, this is the best thing I've ever had in my life, because he's never had sugar before.
Yeah. 2017 was a weird year for films.
That was remember at the theater, the newer theater down in Ruston. The sound was off on their big screen, and I would tell them that, and they give me a free ticket. And depending on how many people were with me, they would give me that many tickets.
Nice.
So I saw everything I want to do that summer multiple times for free.
I don't remember. I know we definitely used it once with me and you, and I have no idea what it was for.
I think we saw The Mummy. Oh no, maybe you paid for that. I saw this. I saw both Mummy twice. I saw this twice. I know I saw Dunkirk. I saw Wonder Woman. I saw Alien Covenant. There's a couple others in there. I don't remember what they were.
So here are the top 10 movies of 2017. Number 1, The Last Jedi. So it's a good thing I got that Last Jedi talk in already.
Yeah.
This episode.
Don't go to that now.
Beauty and the Beast, the live action one, which is, I think it's a fine movie. Fate of the Furious, fantastic movie. Despicable Me 3, which I have never seen.
Nope, neither way.
Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, which is great.
Surprisingly good.
Yeah, Spider-Man Homecoming, which I loved. Wolf Warrior 2?
What?
What the hell is Wolf Warrior? Oh, it's that. Okay, so there's this every once in a while a Chinese movie sort of permeates North America. That right now, because China is pumping in a lot of money into movies and making some of the biggest budget films in the world. And every once in a while, it's just one of those things that make its way here. And this is one of those films. It stars Selena Jade, Frank Grillo. So I remember this movie. I did not see it. I wanted to see it because it looked cool, because it's just one of those big, loud Chinese action films.
Yeah.
Special ops kind of nonsense. So yeah, that's that outgrossed Guardians of the Galaxy 2, which was number 8.
Never even heard of this. Never even heard of that movie.
Yeah. Thor Ragnarok and Wonder Woman. So those are the top 10 movies of 2017.
You get about 3 non-Disney movies on
there. Let's see. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4 Disney movies. 5 if you include the joint operation with Sony and Disney for Spider-Man, but it's mostly a Sony movie. So 4 Disney, 2 Universal, 2 Sony, 1 Warner Brothers, and a United Entertainment film, which was that Wolf Warrior 2. But also, you have some other, because I think Justice League was 2017, wasn't it?
I think it was the next year. Well, shit, I don't know.
Okay, because I think it came out shortly after
Wonder Woman. Yeah, I don't know. They did those movies so ass backwards. I can't keep up with them. Yeah, so yeah, Wonder Woman was good. I don't know what else it said. There was something else I saw in there. I think I saw
Justice League came out in October of that same year. So
did it really?
Didn't even make the top 10 of the year.
Yeah. Which is funny because Wonder Woman was such a hit. You think people would have gone for that?
Yeah, I just think. Keep in mind that also you had a new Star Wars movie and two huge Marvel movies.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So the people's already limited time is caught up in like, well, I'm committed more to the Marvel stuff than I am to this DC stuff. Like,
I definitely want to see this.
Yeah, I definitely want to see. If I'm going to see, because people, if it weren't for Wonder Woman, there'd be no movie where the general public liked from the DC expanded universe.
Until Aquaman.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Aquaman is like 60-40. Most people really don't like the movie, but sort of have fun with it because it's a silly movie. So people
the only movie I ever walked out of in the theater. It was a free ticket, so And I had better things to do. It wasn't that bad. I didn't have time for it.
Let's see what else came out this year. It's
I
gotta
finished
find
my
something.
popcorn.
Yeah. Another Underworld movie came out that year.
Just pump those under the radar, and they just kind of keep coming out.
Oh, The Bye Bye Man came out.
It's one of those situations where you get this hot chick married to the director, and they're just kind of obligated to keep making their husbands shitty movies, like with Resident Evil.
The Resident Evil franchise just exists solely so she has a career. Split came out this year. I love Split.
I haven't seen that.
Triple X: The Return of Xander Cage.
Is that the one with? Oh, Xander
that's
Cage.
The one. That's the one where Vin Diesel comes back.
Not the one with Ice Cube.
No.
That movie's ridiculous.
The Big Sick came out this year. That was a great movie. I like that movie.
Ice Cube's one of those funny actors where he's just kind of a kid playing. Like, he's not really taking it too seriously. This is his way to play with guns. And he's clearly just having fun.
Speaking of the devil, Resident Evil: The Final Chapter did come out the same year.
Was it actually the final chapter?
I think so, because I don't think there's been one since then.
Oh yeah.
And they're trying to get it rebooted. It would be cool to have it come back as an actual zombie franchise.
Oh yeah.
It'd be fun. There's a lot of meat on the Resident Evil bones that they never ever touched an ounce of in the movies.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the cool thing about Resident Evil was it's sort of the original game's location was really cool because it's they find themselves in a mansion, and as they keep sort of exploring the mansion that's infested with zombies, they learn that there's more to the mansion than that. It's also cover for a biochemical corporation that has like military contracts. So underneath the mansion is a laboratory where they've accidentally created a virus that got unleashed in the mansion that turned everything into zombies.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that's a cool idea of like a special ops team slowly descending into this, madness. So but they never did that with the Resident Evil stuff. They kind of vaguely did it at the very beginning of the first one, but it wasn't like they knew they knew they were going into the Umbrella facility. They wasn't like they didn't realize they stumbled upon an Umbrella facility. So
that movie was ridiculous.
Yeah. I've seen them all. Haven't missed a one because you can end up getting them for like $2 eventually, and they're kind of well worth to see the absurdity of them and how the funniest thing about the franchise is that it does not care about its own continuity. Keep in mind, it's not like the directors changed. They're all W.S. Anderson films. And each one, like, oh, this movie ended this way, and then you get to the next one, and it's like, wait a minute, I thought this. It's like, whatever, just whatever, keep going. It doesn't matter. But I thought that this character was nope, screw it, doesn't matter.
I always think of Austin Powers 2, which I don't like, but there's some funny bits in there, of course. And there's he's in the time traveling car. Yeah, and he's like, wait, if I go back there and I'm this, won't this happen? And he's like, I don't know, we haven't put that much thought into it. And he looks into the camera and he's like, and neither should you.
Yeah, it's good. Let's see. Lego Batman movie came out this year.
Yeah.
John Wick Chapter 2. Hell yeah.
Just the beginning.
Yeah. A Cure for Wellness came out.
Oh, I love that movie.
Did you see? I loved it. I don't love that movie. What I love about that movie is that no movie looks like that movie.
No, yeah.
It is gross. It is very Lovecraftian.
Yeah.
The plot is complete nonsense, but it is such an aesthetic movie that I have watched it a couple of times because of how just it knew what it wanted to be in terms of visuals, and it works that way.
Yeah, it was. I was like Gore Verbinski because he did The Ring and then all the pirates, or 3 of the pirates, and the first one,
the good pirates.
Yeah, and I was always kind of waiting. Yeah, I was kind of waiting. Well, even that's up for debate, but I was waiting for him to do some non-pirate things.
One of the coolest, the Davy Jones character from the
cool.
third one. One of the best CG characters I've ever seen in my life.
Very cool looking.
It is so incredible looking.
Yeah, he's very cool looking.
They thread the needle perfectly of looking realistic and impossible. So it's such a good character, and
he's so
like,
cool looking.
And like the sort of tics and stuff that he has are so perfect.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
He was very cool.
Get Out came out this year, which I loved, which most people did.
I like Get Out. I don't love it, but Logan, I like it. I do like it.
Logan came out. Kong Skull Island came out.
Yeah.
I fucking love Kong Skull Island.
It's yet.
Of all of the Godzilla movies, it's the one good one. So Baby Driver, Trainspotting 2.
Oh yeah, they did make that.
The Power Rangers movie came out. I'm one of the few people that liked that movie.
I want to see it. I never liked Power Rangers growing up, but I do want to see it.
The live action Ghost in the Shell came out.
Yeah.
Smurfs movie. Aftermath with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I saw that.
I saw some of it because it was so stupid, but
one of my favorite animated films of all time came out this year. An anime called Your Name, which even if you're not an anime fan, I highly recommend. It's a very, very, very good animated film. Fate of the Furious, Lost City of Z.
Oh, that Charlie Hume, he cannot keep an accent.
No, I read The Lost City of Z. So I don't need to see the dramatized movie version of it.
Yeah.
So. Let's see. Anything else really like The Circle that Tom Hanks, Emma Watson.
It's on Netflix. I was like, should I watch it? It does have Tom Hanks and Emma Watson, but it looked really, really bad.
Yeah, it's actually a great cast. Tom Hanks, Emma Watson, John Boyega, Karen Gillian, Bill Paxton, Patton Oswalt.
Yeah, Paxton. Love Paxton. I remember after Twister, everybody hated Paxton. And I was like, what? I love Paxton. I watched The Terminator a little bit ago, and I wanted to see Bill Paxton in that little role. Yeah. And the bad guy bounty hunter from X-Files.
Yeah. Alien Covenant, Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Oh god,
Alien Covenant really had some bad luck because the very next day it came out, and the very next day Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 came out, and there was no way it was going to survive that.
Well, and the fact that it sucked.
I think it's okay.
It's okay. It's a shitty Prometheus sequel, but it's fine if you like Alien 3.
If you like Alien 3, it's great. If you liked Prometheus, it's terrible because you were sold some goods that they never delivered.
No, they just gave in to the fucking stupid ass nerds on the internet and gave them what they wanted, and then they still hated it. No, you know why? Because the nerds don't know what they want. Yeah. You have to tell them what they want.
One thing, I don't think fanboys should make the movie adaptions, and I don't think you should listen to them about what they want. So.
No, because if they hate it, and then 6 months later they watch it again, then they'll love it. Just like what happened with Prometheus.
Pirates of the Caribbean actually did have its last movie come out in 2017.
Oh, I don't even know what they were. I think I saw the fourth one, and that one was really stupid. The one with Swearingen from Deadwood.
Yeah.
Ian McShane.
Yeah, this one is Dead Men Tell No Tales. It is the one with Javier Bardem as the villain.
Yes.
King Arthur movie came out this year by Guy Ritchie.
Oh god.
Also starring Charlie whatever.
Hume. I stay away from Guy Ritchie.
Yeah.
That guy fucking sucks.
Oh geez, The Wall came out. That's a John Cena movie.
I do want to see it because I like the director, but I always see it on Amazon. I'm like, not today.
Yeah, it's not great. I was disappointed in it.
Yeah, John Cena kind of can't act.
I liked him a lot in Bumblebee, but that's really sort of the extent of...
I like him, but he can't act. He seemed like a great guy.
Let's see.
Kind of like The Rock. The Rock isn't the best actor, but he's good enough.
I don't know. He's great in a lot of stuff that I've seen him in. I love him in the Jumanji movies. He's really good in those.
I think The Rock knows what his limitations are, and he works within them, because And that, yeah, and no, I mean, he's good. I don't mean the
Him,
best actor, as in you're not going to see him doing King Lear or anything, but he can do Jumanji.
him doing Danny DeVito in
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot
Jumanji
that movie
2 is
existed.
so good.
I do want to see that.
The Mummy, which is a movie we both enjoyed that absolutely nobody else on the planet seemed to have enjoyed.
No, nobody except for my wife.
Yeah.
She loved it. She fucking loved it like we did.
Yeah,
I watched it not too long ago, and I was actually it was the first 4K movie I watched on my 4K TV, and I was like, maybe this isn't going to be as good as I remember. And I'm like, nope, it might even be better than I remember.
I get it. I get that people really like adventure movies and that those 90s ones really resonated with people when they came out. But that's not what The Mummy was. And
well, if you watch those movies now, they're not very good. They're pretty easy.
I think the first one is still good.
Mm.
The second one is
so that was bad then. That was bad.
Yeah, is horse apples.
Yeah, that was bad even when I was 12.
And it's hilarious to watch it now, and like the CG for The Rock as the Scorpion King was already bad, but like
bad.
somehow it's like it was bad then, and
I can't even imagine.
Seeing it now is one of the funniest things on the planet. It is one of the funniest movie moments of all time, that big reveal of the Scorpion King. And yeah,
I will say the Scorpion King is one of my favorite bad movies. That's got some great lines in it. Like The Rock with the bow and arrow, and he's like, catch this, and then he shoots the guy. And
a funny thing about the Scorpion King that is for a very limited group of people, the toy line that went to the Scorpion King was done by the people that were making the wrestling action figures at the same time. So they would just reuse the Rock figures that they were doing and like repurpose them, and like to the point where they just made like a 2-pack of like the Scorpion King and the Rock. And so it was basically like you're getting 2 Rock figures, except that this one has the Scorpion King like armor and swords, and the other one is just him as a wrestler. And it was it was crazy.
Yeah, they had that ready to go. They had a spin-off and everything. I think there was a straight-to-video sequel too. For
oh, they didn't stop. There was one very recently, I think, too.
Well, that movie though has some funny ass shit in it.
Cars 3 came out this year. Another terrible movie.
I saw the first one, which also sucked, and then didn't see any of the others.
I saw 1 and 2. One's just kind of one is inoffensive. It is definitely it sort of breaks what a good Disney and Pixar movie is, where a good Disney and Pixar movie is not a kids movie.
Yeah,
it's just
animated.
it's just a movie.
Yeah,
Cars is a kids movie.
Yeah, totally.
And it's inoffensive. The plot for the first one's fine.
Yeah.
But it is a kids movie, and it doesn't do anything to really pander towards adults, except for like the weird like tramp stamp jokes and stuff that are in it. But like other than that, like and they just got worse as they went along. Like
that was the first bad Pixar movie too.
Yeah.
Because for a while there, you're like, God, are they ever gonna make a bad movie? And then like, yeah, they did. And then many more were to follow.
Yeah, and Cars 1 wasn't even necessarily bad.
No, it was just.
I think Cars 2 is when it was like, oh, this is genuinely terrible. This is a bad movie.
Yeah, Cars was just like, what?
Book of Henry came out this year, which is one of the craziest movies I've ever seen.
I've never seen it. Is it bad?
Yes, as it's about a little boy that's too smart for his own good, and the plot
grows up to be a serial killer.
No, well, he doesn't grow up. He dies in the movie. I
wanted to see that.
It's like there becomes a plot point where it's like, so like his friend and neighbor is being abused by her dad and stuff. So he sort of comes up with a plot to kill him, but like he dies of cancer, so he's dead. And
before the murder happens.
Before the murder, but it's like he knew that. And so his mom is like during the whole grieving process, like finds his journals and is going through this whole situation. Like she finds the journals of how he was going to kill the dad and everything. And like, there's this whole thing. It's absolutely bonkers.
That sounds crazy.
And it's Colin Trevorrow.
Yeah.
So,
His
uh,
his his first movie was actually good. I actually saw it. It took place in
what was his first
where
movie?
the- it's called Safety Not Guaranteed, where the guy
Yes,
wants
yes,
time
yes,
travel, and
yes.
they shot it in Ocean Shores
Yeah,
around there. And I watched it when I was down there once, and it was cool because it was like places we'd gone. But it was actually surprisingly a good movie.
yeah, yeah,
And then they did Jurassic World, which is good. I mean,
yeah.
not the best thing, but
Yeah,
it is good though.
yeah. I'm perfectly fine with Jurassic World.
Yeah, no, I watched it again after having that opinion. I watched it again, and kind of reminded me just what my initial reaction was, which was,
yeah,
yeah, there's a couple dumb things, but overall,
yeah.
it's very, very good.
I think it's okay to be dumb once in a while. Uh,
Just the end for me is what sucked.
yeah,
Other than that, though, it was fine. It was good. It was, and they knew the heart of Jurassic Park, and they did it. They got
yeah,
the theme of it, and then in the end, they just kind of couldn't help themselves.
yeah. Let's see. All Eyes on Me came out.
I
Transformers.
always love it and shit like that when people get mad that she's running in high heels, and you're
Yeah,
like, you realize that's a fucking dinosaur, right?
yeah, yeah,
Like, you're getting hung up on the fact that she's running in high heels, and you're accepting there's a goddamn dinosaur
yeah.
running down there. Like, okay, let's look at this stuff, people.
Transformers: The Last Night came out this year.
Oh, that one, the opening scene, that is the coolest thing.
It is both the coolest and single most stupid thing, and I
Yeah.
adore it.
Yeah.
So
Medieval Transformers.
So everyone, in case you haven't seen Transformers: The Last Night, because why would you? I don't think anyone actually did. It starts off basically saying that the Knights of the Round Table were real. Merlin was real. His magic staff was Transformers tech, and
Yeah.
the dragons were just Transformers.
Yeah.
So, and for major Transformers heads out there, we all know that the major villain is the planet. That's the name is escaping me now.
Cybertron.
No, not Cybertron. People are gonna be pissed at me for forgetting it right now.
People are acting like someone's listening to us.
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna kill me.
I do love that movie because it's so fucking crazy.
Unicron. That's
That
what it
movie's
is.
so fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Like it switches between 3 different aspect ratios
Yeah.
for some reason. Like you thought it was
Yes.
annoying in The Dark Knight. This is really annoying.
Yeah, no, the big bad of like the Transformers animated film is Unicron. It is a planet devouring planet that plays the major plot point in The Last Night, and the finale of the movie shows that Earth was Unicron all along.
I love it because part of Cybertron comes. I think they try to do what they did in the movie before it, where they try to bring Cybertron there, and then but they stop it, and there's like chunks
I don't
of
think
the
it's.
planet.
I think it's supposed to be Unicron. I don't think it's Cybertron. I think it's
okay.
Unicron.
And there's like
But-
chunks of the planet, and they're like on Earth, jumping on bits of this floating planet, and it is so crazy.
Yeah, and then it turns out Earth was actually Unicron the whole time because they find the big horn out in the desert. So that was fun.
The Last Night.
Yeah, The Last Night, and then they went on.
Oh, that one has Anthony Hopkins being funny in it, which
It is. It's
at that
weird.
time we didn't know Anthony Hopkins was funny.
Yeah.
Now he's all over the tweeters and YouTubes, and he's hilarious.
Turns out Anthony Hopkins, really funny dude who doesn't take himself seriously in the very slightest.
No, we kind of knew that though when he preferred to be called Tony and not Sir Anthony.
Hopkins versus Hoskins.
Oh yeah, that was our joke.
Yeah.
Our joke was Bob Hoskins and Anthony Hopkins argued for who the greatest actor in the world was. Not only argued, but Mortal Kombat battled to try to take the other one out.
So damn clever.
I don't even want to go into that story.
That's a whole separate thing on its own.
There's way more to that.
Yeah. War of the Planet of the Apes came out.
Oh yeah, that one was disappointing. I've only saw it the one time, and I really liked, especially the one before it. And the first one was good too, but it was kind of a underwhelming. But it wasn't bad. Yeah. It was just kind of like
the Woody Harrelson one.
Yeah, I was like, if they touch Maurice, I am walking out of this theater right now, and they did not.
Okay. Dunkirk came out.
Oh, I did not like Dunkirk.
I never saw Dunkirk because I think I've said it before on here. I just don't like watching World War II movies because I just like World War II like I'd rather watch anything that's real.
When they take and they kind of go the opposite route of the real story,
Here's-
and it makes it a less interesting story.
Here's another movie that is one of those me and you love it, but very very few other people on the planet love it, and that's Valerian and the City of a Thousand
Oh
Planets.
God, I love that movie.
It is. It is somebody learned all of the lessons from episode 1 and made a movie.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, yeah. That movie was fucking killer.
I like that movie a lot.
I love Dane DeHaan as a leading man because he's so not a leading man that it makes him good. I mean, he's good. He's just seems like he doesn't really care.
A rare
his voice, I guess.
A rare Rihanna movie.
Oh yeah, she was good in that though.
Yeah,
I didn't think she would be, and she was.
Like Rutger Hauer's in it. It's weird. It's such a big movie, but also a small movie. It's this weird thing. It's got so much style. It focuses a lot on the concept of what Valerian is without really without doing anything with it. Like it's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's just cool. Most people don't have the self-control to not touch everything. Oh, Clive Owen's in it.
Yeah. A very rare Clive Owen movie in 2017. Yeah. Atomic Blonde came out, which was not good.
I like the preview.
Yeah.
But I saw it a lot because I think it was on The Mummy and Dark Tower, so I saw the preview a lot.
Yeah.
I was like, well, that lesbian scene looks pretty hot, but I don't know if I'd want to see the whole movie.
Yeah, it sort of made it because John Wick was so hot. And the second one had come out this year, and it was like, oh, so they're going into like the woman version of John, and it wasn't really that. It was disappointing. Emoji Movie came out, which is terrible.
What? I thought that was going to be good.
An inconvenient sequel, Truth to Power by Al Gore.
Nobody cared about Al Gore anymore.
Yeah. Let's see. Kidnap and Annabelle. Another Annabelle movie came out.
Oh god, the Conjuring movies. I have no concept of how many there are.
They're just nonstop. There's like every other year. There's like another Annabelle or Annabelle adjacent film.
Oh yeah,
like The Boy or whatever.
Oh yeah, like with Saw. I was like, I like that it took Saw like 8 years. It took Saw 8 years to do what Star Wars did in 20 years.
Good Time came out, which I love.
Good Time. That one's on my list.
That's with Robert Pattinson. That's the movie where when they announced Robert Pattinson as Batman, I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Because that movie rules. It is the I forget who the brothers are, but it's the people that also did Uncut Gems.
I was always I was always
Safadi,
supporting Pattinson, even in the Twilight movies. I was like, God, it sucks because he's really good, but he's only going to be known for these movies.
Yeah, no, Good Time and what's the other one? Cosmopolitan or Cosmopolis? Cosmopolis?
I think a mix of those. Cosmopolis is that Francis Ford Coppola movie that he's never going to make.
Yeah,
that he teases all the time.
Yeah, but like, and that's a good one too. He's
Cosmos.
Yeah.
Cosmos, I think. No, it's not. I don't know. I stayed away from that one because it was a Cronenberg movie, but I don't really like Cronenberg. But
yeah,
we'll see.
I like some Cronenberg.
Some.
I really
have his head full of his ass.
I still really like The Fly.
Oh yeah, I don't like Fly.
And I really like Scanners.
Early Cronenberg. Remember when he said that The Dark Knight Rises wasn't any good because it wasn't Supreme Art Cinema? Yeah. And you're like, what? Oh, I did. History of Violence is good. Eastern Promises I did not like.
Yeah. Logan Lucky came out. I liked. That was a Soderbergh movie.
Yeah.
That was fun. That was a fun little heist movie.
I saw the preview a lot too.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. Hitman's Bodyguard, which I also saw with Ryan Reynolds and Samuel L. Jackson, and they're making a sequel. There's a sequel coming out like this year, next year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Sam Jackson's like, he's like mid-70s.
Yeah.
Remember finding out he was like my dad's age, and I was like, what? I didn't know Sam Jackson was that old.
Lady Bird came out this year. I liked that movie.
I haven't seen it.
It came out.
Unless the plot of the movie is somebody trying to kill somebody, I don't really care. No, that's not true. That is what grabs me. Even though there's plenty of movies where they don't kill each other, and I usually don't go out of my way for them. But when I see certain movies, I like them, even if they're not the ones that grab my immediate attention.
Yeah, no, I really like Lady Bird.
If someone's not going to kill somebody, it's just not worth telling.
It came out this year. Speaking of Stephen King, Three Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri, which I really liked.
Oh, that movie. I did watch Frost Nixon had Sam Rockwell, and I was like, I miss Sam Rockwell. I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah.
It was a while when he was in fucking everything.
Yeah, it seemed like Sam Rockwell was going to be a thing, and then it's like, oh.
He was going to be the new Tom Hanks.
Yeah. I love Galaxy Quest.
Oh, yeah, especially him in that.
His character is the best character in Galaxy Quest. Guy. I, Tonya came out, which is also very good. I liked I, Tonya.
Yeah, I'd see that.
That was a fun way of doing that story. Made it a little bombastic. It was kind of fun. 9/11. That was not with Charlie Sheen and Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah. It's like, it sounds like a really serious movie with a really shitty cast.
Mother came out. Jesus.
Oh, yeah, that movie.
That movie is...
Aronofsky's got his head so far up his ass, he's eating it.
I would have loved to have seen his Wolverine movie, but... Kingsman 2 came out, which I didn't...
Oh, God, that was bad. Did you see it?
I did not. Okay. Like, the only thing I liked about that movie was Elton John.
The only... Oh, God. That everything that made the first movie good was what made this movie bad.
Yeah. They doubled down on the wrong things.
Yeah. What made the first one good? It was like the joke about having anal sex at the end of the first one, which was weird and not funny, is like what this movie was.
Yeah.
Like, let's just do a lot more of that.
I hope that because they just released a trailer for the prequel again because it's about time for that.
Oh yeah.
And so I hope that it's closer in tone because it is a prequel. It takes place, before you got Eggsy involved and all that stuff. So yeah. Jeepers Creepers 3 came out. In case you didn't realize that was still a franchise that existed.
Is that director a pedophile or something?
I don't know. I've never really delved too deep into it.
One of my friends told me that.
Jeepers Creepers where the main villain is a zombie fisherman. American Made came out, which I did enjoy.
Oh, that was good. Yeah. That was another Doug Liman, like The Wall was.
Yeah. What? Yeah.
Another Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise knocks out the park again.
Blade Runner 2049 came out this year, which
I don't know what the hell the studio thought. They thought that was going to be like this like mega blockbuster, and they didn't really realize that Blade Runner is really big to a small number of people.
Blade Runner wasn't a big movie.
No, never.
It's a big movie, sort of in hindsight. The people that love it, but the people that don't, like, this is it. Like, it was just they really put a lot into it for really when they shouldn't have. But I'm glad like they did.
What they did with Watchmen, where they just thought it was going to be this fucking huge movie.
Yeah.
No, I mean, no. I was hesitant with the Blade Runner sequel.
Oh, yeah.
And because so many movies make those 30-year-old, 20-year-old sequels that are just kind of them trying to rehash the first one. And I thought they were just going to dangle Harrison Ford out there like they do in so many of these. It was really fucking good. They understood Blade Runner. They had the point of it. It was a story worth telling. They continued it. They advanced it. Harrison Ford made sense to be in that movie. And
the way the road led to Harrison Ford made sense. They didn't just introduce Harrison Ford. It's just sort of the story just sort of naturally flows to I need to get to Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
As opposed to Harrison Ford kind of always being there or being because like Harrison Ford like almost wasn't even necessary. It's just his investigation found his way there.
Yeah.
So it was great. It's the exact way one of these, like, it's been 30 years. What's the story?
Yeah.
And it's a story that takes place 30 years after Blade Runner. Yeah. It's just same universe. Nothing's really changed.
No.
And here you go. Like the racism part of Blade Runner still exists in there.
Yeah. And a lot of stuff has happened in between, which is really cool too.
Yeah, a lot of stuff has happened that you only sort of pick up on through context, and it's great.
Yeah.
They do the same way. Another great example of that is what they did with the Tron movies.
Oh yeah.
That's the follow up to Tron Legacy was a brilliant follow up to. It does exactly the same thing. The Flynn character is more important to the plot than it is in here, but it plays more naturally.
Yeah. It makes sense. I mean, it's his son, so it makes sense. Well, in Blade Runner, I was like, it looks stupid. Ryan Gosling sucks. Because I hadn't seen him in anything good yet. Yeah. And in the director, I saw Arrival. and I did not like Arrival.
Yeah.
And then I saw Prisoners, which knocked my socks off. And then I was like, maybe I will go see Blade Runner. And I did. And I was like, holy shit, this is really good. This guy understood it. And it wasn't trying to be Blade Runner. It was Blade Runner.
Thor Ragnarok came out this year, which is one of my absolute favorite of the MCU movies. It is so I love Taika Waititi. So he is both the director and has a good role in it. And I love What We Do in the Shadows.
I want to see it. It's got two of my favorite people in it, which is Craig Robinson from The Office. Yeah. And I don't know his real name, but he plays Nate in The Office. He's the guy, the bald guy who looks like me, kind of. And he did the yo-yo guy, the yo-yoist. And I don't know his name, but he's on it too. And I was like, and Jermaine. And I was like, oh, God, I got to watch the show. It's got all my favorite guys in it.
Yeah, like the movie's great. The show is fantastic. I love it. And Taika Waititi did a couple of episodes of Flight of the Conchords. A couple of my favorite ones. I love the episode. It's the episode where Brett buys the cup. And that's one of his episodes, and I love that. Buying the cup was too much for them to
just go on this $2.99 spending spree or whatever he does.
Yeah,
they have one cup and they have certain hours where it's that guy's or that guy's.
Yeah. Happy Death Day came out, which is a really that movie is not what the trailers make it out to be, and the sequel the sequel sort of caught up on that and sort of played into the fact that it's like it's a sequel to Happy Death Day, but it really was like Happy Death Day was a dark comedy time travel movie. So yeah, it really is. It is, you know, Groundhog Day, but as a slasher, and there's some twisty stuff in there, and it's great. The Foreigner. I don't know if you ever saw The Foreigner.
I did. The Foreigner was awesome.
I like The Foreigner a lot.
Foreigner was really good.
Jackie Chan and James Bond.
Yep.
And Charlie Murphy.
Charlie Murphy's in it?
I don't think it's the same Charlie Murphy.
Okay. I was like, I don't remember Charlie Murphy in that.
It's the Irish.
He's like, hey,
Charlie.
Jackie, you gotta go kill them.
It's the Irish Charlie Murphy.
Oh no, that movie was awesome. That movie was very, very good.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. Let's see. Yeah. Coco came out. That's a great Disney Pixar movie.
Like about the gorilla?
No, it's the Day of the Dead movie.
Yes.
Geostorm.
Oh God, I still want to see that.
I've seen Geostorm. Is
it as bad as it looks?
It's exactly what you want it to be.
Is it from the writer of Independence Day?
Who wrote Independence Day?
No, I mean, does it feel like Independence Day?
Yes, it's a Dean Devlin movie.
Yes, he wrote it.
Like it's a Dean Devlin movie. It's absolutely a Dean Devlin movie.
Okay, good. It's a movie that belongs in the 90s.
Only the Brave. Speaking of Tron Legacy, Only the Brave came out in 2000.
Oh, that was good. Yeah,
the Fireman movie. Yeah.
Yeah, John like or Jim something with
Joseph
a ski in there. Joseph Kosinski. Yeah, yes. The guy he's doing the new Top Gun, which I'm very excited for because you got that guy paired up with Tom Cruise and jets, and you can't go wrong. Even if it is a sequel to Top Gun, which is a stupid movie.
The Snowman came out.
That movie. I guess they didn't finish shooting it.
Like, they never finished it. They just ended up hobbling together a movie. It's absolutely a disjointed mess. It is fascinating to watch because you recognize it as unfinished, and it's so weird. And it has that terrible, just like, hello, Mr. Police, I left you all the clues. Like,
yeah, it looked like shit. And I was at that point, I was kind of getting sick of Fassbender because he was in fucking everything. I mean, he's good, don't get me wrong, but I was just kind of getting sick of him because you're like, God, this guy's in every movie I watch.
Yeah,
he's not that good.
Yeah, there's Justice League that came out.
What about you like do the Academy Awards so I can shit on more movies?
Yeah, we will in a minute. We're wrapping up the year.
Okay. That was my idea. I proposed the holder this this week was to do a shitty movie and just diss on it the whole time.
Yeah,
like something not something like The Room where everyone knows it's shitty. Do something big like Avatar. Or, I don't know.
Yeah, Murder on the Orient Express came out this year.
I saw that preview so many times.
I saw that movie. I mean, it's hard to do that movie again. I mean, those movies and that story, like, it's fine. Kenneth Branagh's fine.
He's great. But, you're like, hey, the guy from Wild Wild West.
Yeah,
definitely his worst role.
he did the first Thor movie, which is so weird
Oh
in
yeah, he did.
hindsight.
Yeah, yeah.
He has a voice cameo in like Infinity War or something.
Mm,
So yeah,
he's really good. He's very good.
Paddington 2 came out this year, which is absolutely stellar movie.
Oh yeah,
It
I've
was
seen
one of
it.
the best. It's still at like 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. It is like nobody hated that movie.
Fuck
So
Rotten Tomatoes. I'm
anything
gonna say
else
that every
big?
time you bring up Rotten
Yeah,
Tomatoes.
The Shape of Water came out.
I don't want tomatoes in my grilled cheese. I don't want them in my salad.
Okay, I think it's like 98% on Metacritic. Let's see. So Shape of Water came out.
Oh, that movie! I remember everyone was talking about that movie, and I was like, that title is just so
Yeah.
pretentious. I don't know if I can watch this movie.
The Disaster Artist.
Michael
came
Shannon.
out.
Michael Shannon's in that, right?
Yes, he is.
Oh
Very
yeah,
much so.
I love
He's
Michael
the
Shannon.
he's the main bad guy in that movie.
He has the most square chin I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. Let's see. The Disaster Artist came out this year.
Oh yeah, that was good.
Yeah, The Greatest Showman.
The book is
Yeah.
really funny.
Last Jedi, Ferdinand, The Phantom Thread. Oh man,
Oh, yeah.
Beyond Skyline came out. Jesus.
Oh, that was Beyond the Thread. That was what's his face's last movie.
What, Phantom Thread?
Yeah.
Yeah. Paul Thomas Anderson directed and
Oh, God,
and Daniel Day-Lewis's first
Daniel
title
Day-Lewis.
film.
Yeah. It's like those. He got tattoos, really, for real,
Yeah.
for one role, and like he just throws himself into it so much. He's like, I only got one more movie left in me. If I do another one, it's gonna kill me.
All of the Money in the World came out. If you remember that one.
That was good.
Yeah. That came out at the time of the
The Me Too thing. Did it shoot
Kevin Spacey
reshoot Spacey's movies?
replaced Kevin Spacey with Christopher Plummer, which is
Yeah.
like so like not in the same wheelhouse of Kevin Spacey that it's funny.
Oh, Plummer's great. Well, it's
I
funny
love
because Spacey was playing an old guy, and Plummer is an old guy.
Yeah.
I told you this already, but I watched the Elvis Nixon movie, and it was funny because I'm like, oh god, Kevin Spacey's in it. But I'm like, well, he plays Nixon, so
Yeah.
you hate.
It's okay.
You're supposed to hate him.
You hate him anyways. Yeah.
Yeah, you hate him anyway.
And my dad's favorite actor, Marky Mark, is in All the Money in the World too.
Oh yeah, he is.
And Bright came out this year, so you know.
Oh god,
Did you ever see Bright?
I haven't worked up the courage to watch it. I mean, you got fucking Will Smith, so that's like at least a 40-50% likability anyway. And then it's got Edgerton in it, who I absolutely love, and I think somebody else, but it's got a lot of things going for it and against it, so it could go either way.
It's directed by David Ayer.
Yeah, and that's not a plus.
And it's written by Max Landis, which is also very much not a plus.
I mean, he wrote Chronicle, which I like, but I don't know what else he's written.
And Max Landis, as a human being,
I know he sucks. Yeah,
hot garbage. So it's like, But I feel like there's a good chance that you would like Bright.
I don't know. I don't like fantasy shit.
But it's only tangentially fantasy.
Yeah.
But yeah. So let's go to the. You're right. Let's look at the award ceremonies. Do you want the Golden Globes or the Academy Awards?
Oh, we're eating up a lot of time here. Probably just jump right into the Academy Awards.
Okay.
Nobody gives a goddamn about the Golden Globes.
I have to find the Academy
Even though
Awards.
they have a way better award system, but nobody cares about it.
Yeah, the Hollywood Foreign Press.
Yeah.
The 89th Annual Academy Awards.
I don't even like going through Academy Awards. I just like to shit on movies.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess so the Academy Awards that were this year would have been for the movies of 2016. We want the next year's Academy Awards. We want the Academy Awards from 2018.
For whenever Dark Tower came out.
For whenever Dark Tower came out, which will be the 90th Academy Awards.
Oh, there we go.
So, because let's see, who was nominated?
Dark Tower's not nominated for anything.
No. So Best Picture was The Shape of Water.
That's right.
Which, and the Best Director was Guillermo del Toro. This is actually a year where I saw most of the movies in the top 10 list, or the top movies. It was Shape of Water, Call Me by Your Name, Darkest Hour, Dunkirk, Get Out, Lady Bird, Phantom Thread, The Post, and 3 Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri.
I hate it now where they nominate so many movies where it's just like an honorary nomination where
Yeah.
you know it's only like 3 or 4 that are in the running.
Yeah, like Get Out was definitely just a token.
Yeah, it's not gonna fucking win.
Like,
and
it really-
even Dunkirk, it's too much of an action movie.
Out of all of those, Get Out's the best of the movies, but
Yeah.
I really like Shape of Water. I love Guillermo del Toro.
I thought you didn't like Shape of Water.
No, I like Shape of Water. I like Guillermo del Toro movies, and it was Guillermo del Toro as hell. So, and he won Best Director, which is good. So
I thought about that. We could do that. Hellboy.
Hellboy.
The real Hellboy, not the new one.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. I don't know if it sucks. It looks sucky, but
It's bad. It's cheap. It feels cheap.
it looks cheap.
I like David Harbour,
Yeah.
but he is not Hellboy.
It looked like a fan-made movie.
Gary Oldman won as Winston Churchill in The Darkest Hour.
Oh yeah.
Frances McDermott won for 3 Billboards Out of Ebbing, Missouri.
I think everybody always forgets that Gary Oldman has a Friends role.
Yeah. Hey, as person we were just talking about, Best Supporting Actor was Sam Rockwell for this year.
Oh yeah.
Because he was in 3 Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri.
The Rock.
Oh
yeah. After that, we haven't really seen him.
Yeah. Best Original Screenplay was Get Out. Best Supporting Actress was LaVonna Golden, Allison Janney as LaVonna Golden in I, Tonya. Call Me by Your Name was Best Adapted Screenplay. Coco was Best Animated Film, which it should have been because everything else was hot garbage. Boss Baby, Breadwinner wasn't bad. Ferdinand and Loving Vincent. That's basically it. Best Score was Shape of Water. John Williams not winning that year. We can't give John Williams Star Wars for best.
Yeah. Like he's almost dead. Just give it to him.
Let's see. I'm trying to see if anything interesting. Okay, Blade Runner won for cinematography.
As it should have.
Yeah, and visual effects.
Oh yeah.
So that seems fair.
They were good. There wasn't a lot. I mean, I guess a lot that you noticed, but
yeah. Because the other nominees were Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Kong Skull Island, Star Wars, and War for the Planet of the Apes.
I don't see how Planet of the Apes couldn't win because I mean those are like scary good.
Yeah. Say like when Marvel does their special effects, they're all very good special effects, but they don't really aim for like realism.
Yeah.
They're really going. They're really going for a little more of a bombastic feel for it. So
yeah.
And Kobe Bryant won this year for best animated short film. So
Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
What the hell's that?
Oh, what was it called? I already forget what was.
Wait, he won, or that was the name of it?
No, the short film was Dear Basketball, and it was by Glenn Keane and Kobe Bryant. So.
Oh, that's weird.
So Kobe Bryant was an Academy Award winner.
Yeah, now he's dead, so who cares?
Yeah, they took when you die, they take the award away.
They take it away.
They don't tell you that.
You can win when you're dead, and then when you die, they just take it right back.
Yeah,
they give it to the runner-up.
If they give it to you after you die, you get it forever. But after you die, they take the award back and give it to second place. So,
yeah.
So they don't tell you that part. It's very.
Because they're not the winner of that year.
Yeah.
But the award is yours for life.
Yeah.
But when that person dies, it's still theirs.
So Heath Ledger is for always Best Supporting Actor, and the Best Supporting Actor after that is a new award. He was the last Best Supporting Actor winner, and then they
last
just
recipient of the 2008 Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah. And on that happy note, I think we're going to wrap it up. This has been almost 2 hours of us talking about almost nothing.
Yeah, you almost convinced me that was a real way the Academy worked. It sounded realistic.
Which is why I'm aiming to be this year's winner for Best Supporting Actor. As long as I don't die, I get to keep that award for.
Yeah.
But yeah. That's I don't know what we'll talk about next. I think we're gonna sit down. We're gonna really focus on a bad movie.
I do like shitty movies. I have a lot more to say about things I don't like as opposed to things I do like.
Well, that's what's fun with like the Disney stuff. Like it's fun to talk about the movies that you love and gush about them. Movies that you only because I don't know what your take on, like. Do you really love this movie that we theoretically have been talking about today of the Dark Tower?
You mean the episode title of this one? Yes, yeah. I do love Dark Tower.
Because I just like it. I don't think it's great. I probably won't go back to it again anytime soon.
I don't think it's one of my favorites, but I really, really like it.
Like I liked it. I'm glad. I didn't hate it. It's probably better for me because I have zero connection to the Dark Tower in any way, shape, or form, which probably makes the film go down smoother because you're not disappointing me with your depiction of something that maybe I liked. So
see, I liked it because it was like a good depiction of something that could have been really good, and then they were able to make it cool.
But you also really thrive in being weird and contentious sometimes. So
I'll thrive on it. It just works out that way. Just because I do what I want doesn't mean I'm doing it on purpose.
But
I like it as a good action movie that wasn't trying to be a game changer necessarily. It was just a well-told story that was cool. Well, and someone who loves westerns, it was cool to see the 6-shooters and western things done kind of unrealistically because this guy's supposed to be a Jedi version of that. So it's kind of cool to see things that couldn't actually be done in real life. Kind of the western thing taken to the next step, which I liked.
Yeah. So it was fine. It was like a summer blockbuster to me. I had no problems. I have no qualms with it, other than it just being sort of existing. It doesn't feel like this big thing that sort of Dark Tower in my peripheral is.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just. I don't know anything about the Dark Tower enough to have
nothing really big happens in the Dark Tower. You just get strung along for 7 books and they kill fucking everybody, then start it over again.
Yeah, so that's that. Yeah, I think we'll do a bad movie.
Jake dies twice in the book.
Yeah. We'll do a bad movie. I don't know if Avatar is necessarily the one I want to do.
I would have, but I just tried to watch it again seriously, and it was worse than I remembered it, so I couldn't get myself to watch it again.
It's on Disney Plus, and it's just one of those like.
It's so bad. It's just stupid. It's like a fucking pre-film school student wrote it.
Yeah.
As opposed to one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah, we'll find something. There's plenty of bad movies that are fun to watch.
Con Air.
Con Air, yeah. That was kind of like, I would love to watch a Nicolas Cage movie.
Oh,
bad Nick Cage movie. So.
I did think Air Force One. I don't know if that's that bad. I think that movie's just kind of cheesy. I don't know if it's terrible.
That movie's campy. It's like Con Air. It's like I unironically love Con Air because at least it knows what it's doing. It's like Face Off. Face Off is the stupidest movie on the planet. Love it with all of my heart.
I'd rather take something that everybody else loves but I don't understand and just shit all over. But you probably like all those movies that I would want to do that with.
Yeah. It'll be one of those things where you're gonna just shit on I don't know. I was gonna think. Oh man, no, we're not gonna do that one. I just thought of one. We'll talk about it off this, but I know neither of us would be willing to do it. I don't think you'd be willing to sit through it again. But there's some other stuff. I'm gonna make you watch Mandy. And we're going to talk about Mandy.
I want to watch it.
I got a copy.
I'm willing to watch everything.
I got a copy of it for you here when we can break quarantine. Because I just bought it again on Steelbook because that's who I am. It's one of my favorite movies of that year. So, we'll figure something out. We'll watch something bad. We'll get there. But until then, thanks all again for joining us. You know what? Let's just stay safe. Let's just end it on that. Let's be serious. Just stay safe.
Don't listen to the president.
Please don't listen to a lot of people. Listen to the people that know better. Listen to the people with PhDs and stuff. Just
who are scientists.
Yeah, listen to a scientist. Listen to a person that studied this stuff. Just be safe. Do what they're telling you to do. It's a mask. It's not. You're not going out man in the Iron Mask style. It's not a steel plate bolted to your mouth like Beetlejuice.
It's not your manhood.
Yeah, it's no different.
It's not your independence.
It's no different from putting on a t-shirt that you have to wear to go into the grocery store anyways. Just do it. Stay safe and have a great day if you can.